Ladies and gentlemen, throttle junkies and two-wheel adrenaline seekers, welcome back to another edition of the B4evaKool podcast. I'm your host, Rex45, and this weekend is a feast for motorcycle racing fans as we've got a double dose of high-octane action. MotoGP hitting the Circus of America and World Superbike tearing through the underlying roller coaster of Portimao in Portugal. So let's break it down and get fired up for the weekend of pure speed and insanity. First up, MotoGP at Coda. The Lone Star State is about to get loud, and we all know who has been the sheriff in town at this track. Marc Marquez, the king of Coda, has owned the circuit for years, but with competition getting even tighter, will he still reign supreme? Pecco Bagnaia, Alex Marquez, and the resurgence of Morbidelli and Zarco are looking to steal a spotlight. And let's not forget about the rookies, the underdogs. Could we see another breakout performance like we have seen in the first two rounds? Bumps, tricky exits, and monstrous back straight are all going to test man and machine. With Ducati's dominance, Yamaha still struggling to find their footing, Honda desperate for redemption, this weekend could shake the championship up in a big way. And don't sleep. Let's talk about the sprint race. It's been serving up some of the most unpredictable elbows out battles we have been waiting for all off season. Now let's jump over to the Atlantic to Portugal, where World Superbike is about to light up Algarve International Circuit. If there's one racetrack that will guarantee drama, it's Portimao, with its insane elevation changes, blind corners, and heart-stopping final descent on the main straight. This place separates the contenders from the pretenders. Alvaro Bautista and Ducati are still trying to beat everyone, but Top Rock is not having it, especially after winning the championship last year. Meanwhile, Yamaha is hungry to prove that they still got what it takes to fight for a win. And of course, the young gun, Bulega. Will he continue to shine like he's done in the first round? Stakes are high, bikes are prime, and we have been waiting for this weekend for a long time. So whether you are tuning in from the grandstands, your couch, or a greasy garage with a bunch of fellow gearheads, get ready, because this is why we love motorcycle racing. Stay fast, stay fearless, and always be forever cool. This episode is sponsored by Freedom Cycles of New Hampshire. Let me bring in the first guest, but not the only guest. Welcome, Cheetah, to the B4evaKool podcast, man. Welcome back, man. How you doing? How's Atlanta? How is your arm? You ready for the weekend?
Heck yeah, man. After that intro, man, I think I'm ready to conquer anything. Let's go racing now.
No doubt,
man.
No doubt.
This hand is feeling good. It's feeling. We've had a drought this past weekend, right? It did rain in Atlanta. I'm talking about motorcycle racing. We haven't seen anything this past weekend. We've been itching. They've been feeding us, so we're excited for this next weekend coming up.
All right, man. Well, stay ready in your seat, man. We're going to get through the lineup and get this thing going. Welcome to the show, Lewis. Welcome back, I should say. I see you got the vehicle there, and I assume it's a bag of money, but what's good, man? How you doing?
Good, man. Here, traveling into Coda. It's about a 25-hour drive from where I left. So I got the next 2-3 days on the road and get to Coda, set things up, and get ready for the fun weekend, man.
Okay, man. So what you telling me when you get to Coda, we'll see the beard fully grow in by then, right?
I'll probably have to trim it because I gotta look a little professional. But there'll be some facial hair, man, and there's gonna be some gray hair growing as well.
All right, no doubt, man. Well, hang on, man. We're going to keep it rolling. Last but not least, Track Stars, man. Welcome back to the show, man. You ready?
You already know. I stay ready.
That's what's up, man. How's NY? How has your week been? I don't think you're going to be driving to Coda like Lewis.
Nah. I hate driving. Lewis is a pavement connoisseur. You know, he loves the road and loves the track. That's the only thing we share is the track. You know, other than that, let me just appear at certain places. I wish I could just transport to Coda because I don't really like to fly neither.
Come on, man. How does that work, man? You don't like to fly or drive? I mean, technology's not there yet.
Yo, I hate traveling, man. I wish I could just be in one place and everything happens there.
Okay. We're gonna get this thing started, guys. It's crazy out there, and let me start with this. Marc Marquez. What I heard from some social media outlets and such, like he gave up $100 million of re-signing with Honda. Probably gave up like $25 million for leaving Honda. Probably we don't know what he gave up for sponsorship. I got to ask this question because I've been thinking about this weekend for you guys. With Zarco finishing third place this past round, Grid in third place, finished fifth, I think, and sixth. All that money that Marc Marquez lose, if at the end of the season he doesn't win the championship, and Honda's in the top 5-ish. Is that a lot of money he threw away for jumping over to Ducati, or it's next year is still an option if he doesn't win a championship this year?
Yeah, no, I mean, of course it's a lot of money, right? Too much money. We couldn't imagine that kind of money, thinking just from a fan's perspective, to give up that kind of money when, if that's true, I didn't even hear about that. But if most riders were given that opportunity, I mean, hard to say that most of them wouldn't take it and stay there. But for him, it's not about money. He's got all the money he needs, it looks like, if he was able to deny that. What he's going for is a win, and that's priceless. You can't put a price on another championship ring. Ask all the top champions. I bet you they got a very similar answer. No money in the world, because they got it all. They got it all at that point. Shoe brands, this brands, Red Bull, So that's my opinion. I don't think he cares about money.
All right, let's bring somebody who has it all. The real Luis Ortega, man. Is Cheetah singing your tune?
Money matters. I'm not gonna lie. $100 million is $100 million. That's a nice chunk of change. But I think Marquez is chasing legacy more than anything else, and he knows that he doesn't have unlimited time to chase legacy. The shelf life of a MotoGP rider is not that long. And to be at the top is very difficult. I mean, if you think about the time and effort and energy that these guys are putting into training and staying at that very, very top level of physical fitment, he knows that his career is in the back nine. And to say that he lost $100 million, that's not to say that he can't make $100 million somewhere else. Just a couple of weeks ago, he gave the his entire winnings up to a charity. And I believe the winnings were, if I'm wrong, please correct me, I believe it was $300,000 that he gave away to charity.
Yeah, I heard over 300.
So when you're giving away, when you're able to give away $300,000 for winning one race weekend, think about, he already made another $300,000 the following weekend. So he's not really losing. It's addition by subtraction, Yeah, I got rid of one team over here and one deal over here, but I gave myself an opportunity to now win over here. So I can stay at this team, keep struggling, hurt myself, try to ride a bike that's unrideable that nobody can seem to win on a consistent basis. Or I can come over here, I'm going to make the same money. Trust me, man, he's not losing money. He didn't leave to lose money or to lose races. He left to win races. And by winning races, so addition by subtraction, I don't think anything wrong. I think he made the right choice.
Luis, man, you're breaking up there. We're gonna hold your thoughts to your track stars. You want to jump in? I mean, and again, just think about what Honda has done this past weekend. Marc Marquez is not kind of looking back a little bit, saying maybe if I'd have stuck around, I probably could have won if Zarco got third on the grid.
Yo, listen, Marc Marquez been plotting this for a long time. As you can see, it was well thought out, well executed. What he's done was unprecedented. He got basically everything the way he wanted. Knowing that he was leaving Honda to go to Ducati, and they had to show face by putting him initially on a satellite bike and him taking that pay cut. He knew that was it, but he knew that the next year he was going to be on the factory bike. Again, with significantly less money, but it's an opportunity to win to tie Valentino Rossi in championships. And it looks like he's going to get Agostini's record as well. And these are two pinnacle, monumental accomplishments in the motorcycle world. And they're feeling the pressure. You know, Valentino Rossi knows that it's going to happen with this platform he's on, and without anyone out there to really compete with him, except for his brother. It's over. You know, it's still early, but you have to sacrifice a little bit of money because you know it's going to come tenfold. What you think they're going to pay Marc Marquez to make sure not only MotoGP will find the money to make sure that he is still present with the switch of motorcycles, because it's going to go from the 1,000cc platform to the 850 or 890, whatever it is. That's going to be huge because he's going to close out an era likely with the record. If he goes back-to-back 2025, wins 2026, he is the record holder of championships. And by that point as well, he'll be the record holder of wins also, overcoming Agostini. It's incredible the money he's going to make later. And who knows what he's making on the side that we don't know about, you know, just doing features and selling merch. I don't think he's shorting himself really too much. You never know.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you guys are also skipping up. Speaking of, just real quick, you also guys, you got to remember, he got paid a lot of money by Amazon for that Amazon series. If he wins, supposedly there's a contract to make a second Amazon series. So money is not an issue with Marquez, man. Right now, it really comes down to he wants to be on the best bike and have the best opportunity to win. The money's going to come, man.
You see, Lewis is the numbers guy.
You know, listen, he is the numbers guy. As with that Sprinter van, he's got full of stuff. Let's talk about we got Augusto Fernandez coming back in to fill in for Oliveira, who can't catch a break. Is this a good opportunity for Augusto Fernandez to find his way back into MotoGP as a rider, similar to what Zarco did? I believe he filled in for, I forget, one of those LCR Hondas he filled in for when he left KTM because the bike wasn't rideable to him. He didn't want to take the money that Lorenzo was taking by going to Ducati and not doing well at Ducati. He decided he's going to let KTM keep the money and leave motorcycle racing. Zarco, is this a good chance for Fernandez to get back into MotoGP?
Yeah, I think it's a great shot. Right now, what's he doing right now? I'm not sure what he's doing exactly.
Test rider for Yamaha.
For Yamaha, okay. So it's not like he hasn't been on the platform, right? He's been playing with it this whole year. Now he gets a chance to put his skills to the test, see if he's still very race worthy. Maybe it'll come to the point where he gets a bigger spotlight right now, and maybe someone else may want to make him a better test rider or probably put him back on a factory seat maybe. So I definitely think it's a great opportunity anytime someone like that gets a chance. Of course, it sucks for the injured rider, right? But here comes an opportunity.
Miguel can't catch a break. I mean, the last 4 years or so, other riders have been taking him out, and he's been out for a good amount of time. You know, on not on a bike. What are your thoughts, Lewis?
I think the same thing. If he can get it into the top 13 on a wild card, that's a really good showing for a wild card, especially on the platform he's going to be on. If you look at where everybody else has been finishing on that same platform, I think if he can get into like that top 13 position, it really does give him an opportunity to kind of open some eyes. If he gets back into GP, that's a tall hill to climb, man. I mean, I look more at Moto2 and I look at what some of the riders there are doing, and there's so many young riders that have the opportunity to get brought up. Once you leave MotoGP, it's so hard to get back in, man. You know, it's that exclusive club that once you leave, the guy at the door doesn't want to let you back in. You had your chance. We got to let somebody else in, you know? And then as for Oliveira, Yeah, Sarko is one of the very few people that was able to get back in the door after leaving. You know, it doesn't happen too often. I think on Oliveira's side, I think really bad for the guy, man. The guy just he has some sort of magnetic pull where other motorcycles are attracted to him. He needs to get like bathe in some holy water or get some juju or something, man. Honestly, if I was working with Oliveira and I was being the marketing guy I am, his next suit, I would just paint it like a bullseye and make the best out of it, man. Market the hell out of the fact that he's the moving target for everybody to hit. Make some fun out of it, make some joke out of it, and try to move on. You know, at least get some attention on the fact that he keeps getting hit. Turn a negative into a positive. I mean, that's part of marketing, and that's, I think would be a pretty smart idea for them to do something. Because unfortunately, it's by no fault of his own, he might eventually get out of MotoGP just because he can't stay healthy. And again, by no fault of his own, everybody else uses him as a berm, which sucks for him. But results are still results. What do they say? If you show up to the fight and you're injured, you're still fighting. It's still going to be a loss on your record. And, unfortunately, he's collecting a lot of loss, a lot of DNFs, a lot of non-starts. And, it's starting to pile up. I don't think if he doesn't get this bad juju off of him soon, man, he's going to be out of a job.
Yeah, I agree. What are your thoughts, Track Stars?
Man, you see Lewis will capitalize off of anything, man. The marketing genius just comes out of him, you know what I mean? Like numbers, Johnny. We got to call Lewis Manziel, the money guy, But we've seen this play out in MotoGP. We've seen it play out with the Espargaro brothers. They still had time. They could have ridden another couple of years, but they overcame a lot of big injuries, and it comes a point where you got to make a decision, like, am I supposed to continue doing this, or is it time for me to make a big change in my life? And I think he's there, and if he doesn't make the decision, MotoGP is gonna make it for him, because we got some crazy guys in Moto2 that should have been in MotoGP, and we already see with it's like watching a reality show where they're going like, how we had back in the days making the band. I'm showing my age, but these people becoming superstars, but they're in the little house right now, just working on their craft. My man Dixon is been ready to be in MotoGP, and of course my guy Aaron Canet. Oh my God, these are people that really belong in MotoGP, and they're gonna try to take these people out. I say it again, I'll say it 1,000 times. These people in the back of the crib that are aging out or have too much mileage on them, deuces. And that includes Oliveira.
Yo, real quick, I wanted to say, I was looking it up, but Fernandez was set to replace Johnny Rea, right?
In SuperBike, yep.
Yeah, so he took, I guess MotoGP took precedence.
I forget who's replacing him now. I think it's the BSB rider.
Jason O'Halloran.
Yeah. I think he's in BSB.
Interesting.
Which he's fast. I mean, he's definitely fast. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think Fernandez got the bump because he was already in MotoGP, and there's just certain things that he don't have to relearn that somebody coming from World Superbike or BSB would also have to get used to. So, which is great. I mean, and Yamaha picked him up as a test rider, and he's only been on KTM as far as in GP. So even that was a good look, getting picked up as a test rider. And he's a young rider, so usually you see people like Cal and Elish and Pedrosa and these older guys, right, that are test riders. So the fact that Yamaha is bringing someone who hasn't, I think he finished in the top 6th or 7th last year once or something like that. but not much beyond that. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. I wish him. It's tough. I wish him the best of luck because I think KTM has they don't give riders, to me, in the last several years with Ika, Luca Ono, and some of these guys, they just don't give them enough time on the bike. And I don't know what they were expecting from these guys because KTM is still yet to be a dominant force like I assume they wanted to be last year and the year before. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's move on and let's talk about
KTM.
Go ahead.
One thing on KTM has a weird structure, and we'll talk about it at some point. But KTM has a very weird management structure and rider structure, the way they bring riders up through Moto2 and Moto3. And this is why when they get to GP, they have a very low tolerance rate to keep them over a certain period of time for a couple of reasons. The contracts that they have them sign when they're in Moto3 and Moto2 have a very finite life. And if you don't do certain things within that time period, they kind of just cut you off because they know that they're going to lose you anyway. So we can go over that at some point. Like we can deep dive into it, but they have a very weird way of managing riders that are under contract with them that we should probably dive into at some point.
Let me just ask this, and we can probably spend a different day going through it on more details. But it sounds like they lock you into like record contracts. You know what I'm saying, when you're in Moto2 and Moto3, because it like. Acosta wanted to go to Ducati, but they wouldn't let him, right? You saw how Martin had to kind of, not spit in their face, but essentially leave in a way that he probably will never go back to KTM again. But these guys have, contracts, in Moto2 and Moto3 for so long that if they start to shine, they just move them up to GP and they can't get out. But it sounds like even Pedro Acosta wants to get out.
Yeah, we'll go over it in detail, but this starts all the way from like the development Red Bull Rookies Cup, because all those bikes are KTM. So KTM has first look and first option for all these kids on these mini bikes, and they pick the pick of the litter. So if you look at who's won the Red Bull's Rookies Cup, you'll see names like Brad Binder, Jorge Martin, Pedro Acosta. So these guys pick the best of the best, give them the opportunity. And because they run the Red Bull's Rookie Cup, now they can cherry pick the best of the best, but also lock them into these long-term contracts that is very hard to get out of. But as a young kid, this is your opportunity to make your way to Moto3 and Moto2 without your parents having to pay your way more. And now it becomes very enticing because, my mom and dad can only mortgage their house 17 times before we got to decide whether or not I'm going to make it as a rider. But KTM comes along and says, hey, we'll give you this long-term deal where you're going to ride in Moto3 for us and Moto2 for us, and we'll give you a path to MotoGP. But they pretty much then manage your life from that point forward until the contract expires.
Okay. Anyone else want to add to that?
I agree.
My man got it.
Yeah, he got it. It's spot on. I mean, once you're locked in, it's the whole point. You get locked in, right? You get enticed to the whole future life. You have something right now that's desperate. You got a desperate need for some lock-in, some commitment to keep you going in the sport that's brutally expensive. Devastating, right? People jump out of this just for that reason, money. So, no, spot on.
Okay. Speaking of spot on and jumping out, when is Alex Marquez going to step out of his brother's shadow in the sense of, because, and I say this and I was thinking about this, so we touched on this last week a little bit, it's usually the younger siblings that outshine the older siblings. And I'm the youngest, so I feel good saying that. It's usually that's the case. Is it just a matter of time for it? Is this Alex's year?
No, and the younger one's usually the silver spoon fed, by the way, because the parents already did it really hard on the older one, which is me. The younger one gets a silver spoon fed because they're like, all right, we had enough. The first one turned out all right. Let's go ahead and let him get whatever he wants. And they get spoiled. That's what I've seen. But with Alex, no, I don't think he's trying to be in his brother's shadow. I don't think it's like a choice. It's the Mark effect. Right. Everyone's he's playing mind games with his own brother. I saw a clip where they're walking back. I forget what he said, but he said it to where oh yeah, he goes, yeah, we're walking back and everyone's kind of cheering Mark, and Mark's like, you're the one, right? And something like that. And he goes, you know why? Because you've got more time leading the races in GP currently than anyone else. And he laughs after that, because Alex is like, kind of like, what are you saying that for? And Mark laughs. That's mind games. That's just him. And someone named, it was Eugene Laverty or Michael Laverty said he's a smiling assassin. Right. So not to take the spotlight away from Alex, but I don't think it's his time. I think if he wasn't there, Mark, he's looking very, very strong. But at the same time, it's no telling, because Mark was pushing that last race, and Alex is looking very strong up front by himself, a ways away from everyone else at this point.
Lewis. We might have lost Lewis. Let's jump into you, Track Stars, until he comes back in.
Answer.
Man, I did see that clip of Alex and Mark talking shit to each other, and he actually told them, "You want to play mind games with me?" And he tells them, you know that you're probably the favorite because you've led the most laps in MotoGP. So and the brother starts laughing, and he's like, "Yo, you crazy? You didn't have to say that." And it cuts off right there. But this is the duo. The team is not Pecco and Marquez. The team is Mark and Alex. That's the MotoGP team right now. And I think that we're gonna see Alex's ability when he gets on the factory bike, because obviously there's a big difference. He's able to beat Bagnaia, and it's not as bad as Mark is beating them. But I believe Pecco will be that second place bike by the end of the season. But maybe next year when Alex goes to the main bike, we will see a different and probably some competitiveness between the two brothers.
Main bike? What is he talking about, Lewis? Going to the main bike? You're on mute, Lewis. If you can, there you go.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say that as the younger brother, I can tell you that the older brother gets more shit first, and the younger brother ends up wearing the pants that the older brother wore 2 years ago. So the second brother doesn't always have a silver spoon.
You must be a middle brother, Lewis.
Nah, trust me. I'm the little brother, man, and I didn't have a silver spoon anywhere near my ass. I wore my brother's shit after it went out of style. So they're both hungry guys. I think Alex has already shown that he's not in his brother's shadow. Everybody's in Marquez's shadow right now. Yeah. If anything, Alex has shown this year, more than any year that he's been on the bike, that he deserves to be in MotoGP. And for all those people that for all these years have been saying he only got to GP because of his brother, he's showing, no, I had the talent, and now I'm showing you that I have the talent. So he's going to win a race regardless. At some point this year, he will win a race. Whether it's Marquez crashing or something else happening, I see him at the top step of the podium sooner than later. Honestly, I see him on the top step of the podium before I see Pecco on the top step of the podium.
Wow. Write that down, Cheetah. Man.
Write it down.
All right, let's keep that moving. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Pecco. Let's talk about Morbidelli, and let's talk about Bezzecchi as well. Right, out of the VR46 Academy, looks like Morbidelli has everything together out the first two rounds compared to Pecco and compared to Bezzecchi. Out of these guys at Coda, which three is gonna? Well, Lewis has already said Pecco's not going to get the podium. So, which two of these guys or three of these guys are going to come out on top in Coda?
I mean, I got Bezzecchi up for the podium. He's very strong. He had a weekend, but Morbidelli looking very strong too. And Lewis had it right. He had that extra juice going into close to a Brazilian country there, and had some Brazilian heritage. So, but I think Bezzecchi's my choice for this weekend. I don't know what Rossi would say. I'm curious to see what Rossi would say about who he would pick. Of course, you can't pick your favorite child, right? But yeah. Anyways, that's my choice.
I would say Morbidelli, but you're saying party done. Is the party done for the Brazilian / Italian?
Yeah, I think last weekend Morbidelli did well. I think he'll do well again this weekend. But if there's somebody that really needs to do well this weekend, is Bezzecchi, man. He's on a track that Aprilia has won on. And, last year, Vinales won after Mark threw it away. So Bezzecchi's got a lot to prove, man. He's got to put that bike on the podium. I don't know if he'll put it on the top step, but he's definitely got to put it on the podium, man. You can't have this many races with this many bad results, crashing, bad starts, bad qualifying, starting from the back, working your way through. Like, he needs to be, from Q1, from the first practice, he needs to be showing that he's got speed at this track. And if there's anything Rossi's saying is, will one of you bastards please beat this goddamn Spanish guy? Because this is embarrassing now. That's what Rossi's saying.
I think so. He has to be saying that. And, I think Morbidelli's saying, I got you. What are your thoughts, Track Stars?
I mean, I think we closed it out last week with everyone kind of saying the same thing, that Bezzecchi would definitely be on that podium. And we really anticipate him to win because of that. Aprilia won last year at that track, and Bezzecchi was on the Ducati, and he didn't do bad. He definitely, I think he did crash out, but I remember him having good qualifying and looking like he was going to be a contender in that race. So I'm excited for Bezzecchi for real. I think Aprilia needs something more than sixth place. And I think that the bike definitely is capable of more than sixth place. And Bezzecchi has to show out. He has more pressure on him than anyone else, because we also are anticipating the return of Martin, and he needs to really see something to keep him inspiring him to recover quickly and get back to this competition, because he's definitely missing. He's missing on the platform, and I know for a fact that Mark Marquez wants to obliterate him, and it means something to see that number one play on the grid or that ex-champion and defeating him, because he's not getting nothing out of being next to Pecco. He doesn't feel, they're laughing at this thing all the way to the bank. Like, him and his brother are just enjoying this. They're like, who can we really have fun with on the track with? I'd rather race with Martin, and he's not even here. And that says a lot, my brother.
Okay, man. Martin looks like he may be coming back for the COTA round. We don't know if he's going to get a chance to test on a MotoGP bike. Doesn't sound like they want to institute that rule change for him. Let's talk about Zarco. Let's talk about Rins. Which one of these two guys have a better chance of stealing something at COTA? And we haven't talked about that it's going to rain on Friday. So practice is going to be interesting and be interesting to see who makes it to Q2. We'll know a little bit of rain coming through on Friday. I think right at the moment it's cleared up for Saturday. Which one of these two guys may have a chance to steal something in COTA?
I mean, all we can do is just go off of what we've seen so far, right? And I think what we've seen is that Zarco is really proving himself on Honda. He's really bringing Honda up front further than everyone else as far as that goes. Rins is there, but he's on the Yamaha right now, and Yamaha as a whole right now isn't looking super strong.
Right. And I say that just to say Rins is one at COTA, right? He's only that's more or less why I'm bringing that up. Yeah, right. And he's been strong there, right? But at the same time, is the bike holding him back to an extent? Is he not on the best platform? That may all play a part. But between the two, I mean, it could be a toss-up. But my pick would be Zarco right now.
Yeah, between those two guys, I think Zarco is going to have the better performance this weekend. I'm actually a huge Alex Rins fan. Like I've been calling him Sideshow Bob for like so long because of his hairdo. And I think he's one of the smoothest riders in MotoGP. Like I tell a lot of people his style is very Jorge Lorenzo. It's just very silky smooth. He doesn't make mistakes. He glides from one side to the other on the bike. It looks like he's twisted up because he has that bent neck style where instead of like pointing his head down, he kind of points his head across the windshield. But it's cool, you know, like he's a really cool rider. But at this track, this is not Yamaha's track. This hasn't been Yamaha's track in years. And that long back straightaway and the front straightaway, I mean, that's the weakness of the Yamaha right now is top speed. And when you're going down that really long back straightaway, I mean, we've seen in the past, Yamahas get eaten up, man. The Ducatis walk by them like they're in neutral. And I don't see that happening. I don't see them fixing that problem over the weekend.
Wasn't Rossi on the podium in 2019 on a Yamaha?
You going back to 2019? Man, the Hondas are slow too right now on the straightaway.
Yeah.
The Hondas are slow too now,
Did it Honda?
Oh, Lewis is going between two mountains, man.
I think it was yeah.
That desert sand.
Put your phone on top of the van.
Yes, you might have to. We're gonna stick a mute on Lewis until he gets into a good spot. What are your thoughts, Track Stars?
Man, I don't know. I don't think Zarco or this guy.
Out of the two.
I don't know who's worse, man. I'm looking here. They didn't do good last year.
It's going to rain on Friday. It's going to rain on Friday. So, practice sessions are going to, be interesting because it's still going to be the fastest times to get the Q2.
Yo, you know that those rain practice sessions are horrible, right? Because you never get the real setup. You never get the necessary setup you need. Once it rains, you hope it rains the whole weekend because that's where you're gonna see the best racing. But if it rains Friday, semi-rain, semi-dry Saturday, and then dry Sunday, forget about it. You could throw your planning out the window because the setup is not going to be correct for the bike or for the riders, and they're going to go crazy. The tire selection, and then you already know Texas could be 50 degrees in the morning and then 80 degrees, 90 degrees in the afternoon. Once 1 o'clock hits, it's a whole different day, it feels like. So, I mean, we were at MotoGP last year, and we started off in long sleeve shirts to try to protect you from the sun, and then my man, you switching up to a tank top if you can, because the weather could change, and then in the night you're wearing a jacket. You don't know what the hell is gonna happen.
So, with all what just Trackstar said about the rain and the conditions and everything we've talked about, you guys going to change your tune a little bit? Who may come out of the weekend? Because as you heard Trackstars mention, the weather could play a big part. And, people like Miller, obviously Marquez is good in the rain, and some of these other guys. I would say Oliveira, but he's not there. Another guy that's really good in the rain. Bender's good in the rain. Do some of these guys get a shot to, maybe make it to Q2 to at least place further on the grid because they got the Q2 even if they're in 12th?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Brad has a definite shot of going to Q2 if it's raining like that. Mark's going to be in Q2. We already know the ones that are going to be in Q2. I just don't see the Yamaha making it to Q2 this time around. I don't know why. I just don't see it. Hopefully that they can, but yeah, I think if it's raining, there definitely is a certain favorite, but my top three still say the same. I still think I have Zarco as a favorite right now over Rins if we were to talk about that.
Okay. Lewis, you back with us?
21st and 22nd.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm listening to everybody's what they're saying, and the same thing. Like I was saying before, Zarco is doing much better. I think Honda is a little bit stronger in this track than Yamaha. I think Yamaha is not going to have a great weekend. If it rain's a great equalizer. Then it becomes a little bit more talent, a little bit less horsepower, a little bit less bike. But if it doesn't rain, I'm going to stick with the same picks that I had from the last time we talked about this. Alex Marquez, Mark Marquez, Bezecchi, and definitely Zarco way ahead of Rins, man. I don't see the Yamahas doing. If I see a Yamaha in the top 10 and it doesn't require 5 people DNFing, I'll be surprised, man.
Okay.
I bet KTM will be better than Yamaha and Honda at this track.
Okay.
Regardless of how their season's been.
If they show up, as long as they get the gas bill paid, they should be there.
Man. Let's jump to Moto2 before we jump into World Superbike. Is Joe Roberts going to get some of that hometown favorite that you talked about that Morbidelli had down in Argentina?
I don't think so.
Wow.
I don't think so, bro. I don't know. I mean, if he's still playing hurt, maybe not. No, definitely not. But I hope so, man. I had a question for y'all for a later time about, are we ever going to see another MotoGP champion that's from America? Not even in the next 5 to 10 years, but I'm like, man, hopefully we see one coming sometime, because Joe isn't holding it up right now. And so if you were to ask me for Joe for Coda, I'm going to not place my bets on him. I'm sorry.
Okay. Lewis?
Yeah, that's not going to be any hometown juice, man. If you look at the top 6 or 7 in Moto2, Joe coming off an injury, the package that he's on, I don't see him being that far up there, man. I just don't see it for him right now. And as far as seeing a U.S. MotoGP champion, if I can see one more in my lifetime, I'll be surprised, man.
Yeah.
We just don't have the setup and the feeder series. And I know they're trying to do it now with this Kramer Cup and everything else. It's just not the same, man. One of my good friends just put a video out this week on Big Time called The Road to MotoGP.
Yeah,
and Jeremiah, he used to be with Donut Media. He's a really good friend of mine, and he's got, we work together. And that video took them almost 9 months to produce. And if you look at, he did a great job of explaining the road to MotoGP. And we just don't have the talent here, man. Like, the level of talent here is not the level of talent there. And until you go there and you live there and you compete there, you can't really consider yourself that level of talent.
Yeah,
I don't mean to disparage it, but think about it. Cameron Bobier left here to go to Moto2 and got smoked. And when he was here, nobody could touch him. Josh Herrin left here and went to Moto2. He got fired after 4 races. You know who his teammate was? Johan Zarco. Where's Johan Zarco right now? Like, we don't have the competition level that they have there, and we don't train on the bikes that they train on. Training on a superbike does not get you ready for a MotoGP bike. I don't care what anybody says. The days of, Ben Spies are long gone, man. Like, these prototype bikes are so much radically more different. And you just need to understand how to grow up explaining to mechanics how to make the bike work. And we don't have that dialogue here. 5, 6, 7-year-olds are not learning that dialogue here. You can go to the Apex Academy all you want, race around in a valley. That does not make you ready for Moto3. Put that same kid on a Red Bull Rookies bike, he's going to get smoked. And, I hate to say it, man. Like, back in the day, we dominated because we were big in flat track. And when there was the true two-stroke era, those bikes were very well suited for people that knew how to ride with the rear tire. That's not the case now, man. It's a completely different ballgame. And we're not training the kids here on how to adapt to those motorcycles. I think we'll see somebody go to World SuperSport or World SuperBike and do well before we ever see somebody go to Moto2 or MotoGP.
Okay. Before you jump in track stars, I just want to add Manuel Gonzalez. He's way of World Super Sport. Won a championship, was in the 300 Super Sport. He was I think part of the Red Bull and the European Series, or the European Series as well. Now he's in Moto2 and got on the podium and doing well in the championship. Are you saying U.S. riders will have to do something similar? Get overseas, regardless if it's you just need to be on a MotoGP type bike or Moto2 or type bike.
Yeah. You need to convince your parents to leave everything they have here in the U.S., move to Europe, and compete from a very young age with kids on the same equipment that is going to get them to Red Bull Rookies Cup, get them to Moto3, get them to Moto2, and so forth and so on. The feeder path here is a pie in the sky dream in a way.
I was going to say, I would almost say it's the bikes, of course, number one thing is what it seems like, but it's almost like a combination of the tracks and the mentality and the mindset around those people that are like elevating to that level. So a lot of these kids, I mean, they feed off of what they've been told. Like they've never seen another MotoGP champion from the US in a long time. They set their expectations a little lower. You know, they understand how the politics work. I mean, you have to almost, because you already know the chance of you getting somewhere really far and from a U.S. standpoint is limited to finances and also being able to compete over there. And yeah, I don't think it just comes down to equipment, but just the tracks, the people you're around, the mindset they carry it's way different.
Track stars, you want to add?
Oh man. You know, I hate agreeing with this guy, but when Lewis is right, he's right. And listen, even in the country I'm from, the Dominican Republic, the number one way of transportation is a motorcycle. Whether it's a moped, a scooter, you know, it's on two wheels. Only here in the U.S. now we're seeing the Americans or the people here in our communities riding more and more two wheels now to deliver food. For the first time now we see them delivering food on everything. Everything is on two wheels. And whether it's electric or motorized, now is that you're seeing that. And I think that we're late on introducing motorized two wheels to our children, because that's where it all becomes over there. That's the first license you're going to obtain. You know what I'm saying? And here we're excited to get our license, you know, at 16, and we don't even need it because our form of transportation is that good. So I didn't get my driver's license till I was 23. So it's just that the mentality just from upbringing, forget about on the performance level when you're looking at it as a competitiveness or as an actual sport. Even in once you leave the U.S., guess what they have? It's not go-karting. They have mini GP places for you to just go and have fun. Like, we have go-karting here, and we still have not one place where you can go consistently and ride indoors on two wheels. It doesn't exist in the U.S. and because of all the liability too here, because we could sue for spitting on somebody here. So imagine you get hurt on one of these motorcycles, they're not gonna run the risk of it. But it's just opportunities and how the mindset of you for your upbringing, how you get introduced to two wheels. Here, it's still forbidden.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to share something, if I may. When I went to India a couple of years back, through my Instagram, we set up some guys to come give me some bikes. The first day I landed, hopped on some little bikes over there. But just feeding into this point about equipment, they all ride. R3s are a big bike over there for track guys. You know, R150, they call them R15s or something. They're 150 cc's. They ride those. And there's like champions there in those classes. but they just can't adapt at a later age to a 600 at 27 years old, 26 years old if they've been riding that. So this kid that I remember, and rest in peace, he actually passed away in a motorcycle accident. He was 11 years old. I met him 2 years ago when he was just 10 or 11, and he passed away last year from a helmet accident, the equipment failure, an Indian helmet sponsor that he had. Unfortunate incident, but he was a maniac. I mean, he was a savage, but he was the only one that ever went to mini GP. And went to he actually raced in the mini GP in Valencia and placed really well amongst the Europeans. He placed like top half above the top half. And so, but he just looked way different when he was riding with these kids back in India. So it just goes to show 1 or 2 events out there with these guys and equipment, the mentality is savagery, man. That kid had a different mindset, different speed. So it's not just equipment, it's so much other stuff that the whole culture itself is different when you get in those race involved countries.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's different outside of the U.S. when it comes to motorcycles. Let's talk about World Superbike. Is the Ducati Cup, is that what we're renaming it? Or is Kawi or BMW? They got anything for these boys on the Ducks?
Yeah, we're going to Portimao next, right?
Yeah.
We're already there, actually. They're already there, right? So, yeah, I think Toprak's bike there had a little question marks from this past round, but from the testing, from what I've seen, he's almost a second faster than Bulliga. So I think he's looking very strong there, but he is the only BMW that's looking really strong. Their next one is in 11th, Michael Vandermark. So I see definitely Toprak and Bulliga battling it out. If not, I see Toprak getting away a little bit if he can make those tires work on that new chassis. But it's going to be fun because he loves that track. So I think it's going to be between him and Bulliga up front. We'll see what happens there. But I don't know about Kawi. I know they're going to be top 10. They're looking strong there. They're consistent with each other. Both riders seem to be good riders for those bikes right now to develop them. They're very close with each other. So I don't know. It's a toss-up between the next, top 6 guys, I'd say.
All right.
I'll make it quick before I head into these mountains, but this is the time for Toprak to do really well. Again, this is one of his better tracks. But at the end of the day, I think Bulliga, at least for this year, is going to be the guy to beat on a Ducati. And I think we're definitely going to see a little bit of a Ducati, maybe I'm not going to say a Ducati lockout, but we're definitely going to have at least 3 or 4 Ducatis in the top 5. Between Bulliga, Iannone, Battista. I mean, those 3 guys alone are going to be hard to beat in and out every weekend. And, unfortunately, the only competition they have right now is Toprak, man. So I got to root for Toprak, hoping that it's not just, Ducati 1, 2, 3 for the entire weekend.
4 or 5.
Or 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know.
Mr. Ducati, man, track stars. What are your thoughts?
You already know what I think is gonna happen this weekend. I think our guy Toprak gonna get Ducati'd out. Yo, you don't you understand, man? Like my man Reddy's out there, Lewis. Scott Reddy, baby, on the Ducati, left BMW, did the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Toprak needs to do the same, man. If he can figure out how to be Pecco's partner up there at Ducati, they better get it out. But yeah, I think seriously, like no lie, I think Bautista's gonna win this race for real. I think Nico's gonna be in there, and I think Redding's gonna get on the podium. Those are my picks. They will not be a BMW on there. This gonna be a nasty race. I'm telling you right now. It's gonna be a nasty race. It's gonna be. I think not that we're gonna be bored at MotoGP, but we're gonna be at MotoGP hyped up watching World Superbike. Okay, trust me, it's gonna be crazy.
It's going to be something like that. I hear you. It'll be different. I mean, I think watching World Superbike in the past and seeing what Top Rock can do after the main straight. I think that's where the battle is going to be. Turn one. It seemed like it was the last time. But, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be on my laptop watching the races in between. Working at Coda and stuff like that. So it should be a fun time. Let's talk about World SuperSport. Let's talk about the R9. The Manzi was able to pull a win off at Phillip Island and stuff like that. Is Portimao suited for the R9, or is it going to be Ducati and MV Agusta trying to pull away?
Yeah, I mean, Portimao is somewhat, it has that long straight in the front, and then there's mini straights in between the sharp turns. So it'll be definitely a different kind of track than Phillip. Phillip's very curvy, very light braking in some sections, and then, one long straight. So, yeah, it's going to be the test, if anything. I don't want to make any predictions, but I want to see how it's going to shoot out of corners and brake hard. Shoot out of corners, brake hard. And then, of course, the back of Portimao is very, curvy in some sections before you get back to those, the front straight pretty much. So it'll be interesting how it handles the front. I would say you're testing the front out more. So I'd be very, very curious to see how it handles it. I mean, that's one of the toughest tracks for the front, if you would think about Portimao. So very, very interesting test here coming up.
Louis, you in the mountains yet?
Nah, I think I can still get away with this. But my only concern with the R9 right now is the durability of the motor. I don't know if the motor can, if the motor can stay together, they can be competitive. But if the motor can't, then that's going to be their Achilles heel this year is the reliability of that motor, because they're wringing a lot of power out of that plant.
Track stars.
Man, you already know. I'm sticking with my guns. I'm going with Ducati. I think they got it, man. They're on the same bike they were last season, and I was mistaken. I thought they were on the new bike, but they got all the advantage, man. That's the winning bike. That's the bike to beat. And still, I don't care that there's an R9 over there that's looking unbelievable. We just gotta see what's gonna happen this round. Obviously, everyone has a shot in SuperSport. The competition is really right then. They're right there, and I think now that Yamaha has this new platform, they look more competitive than ever. I think get an R9, man. Sell your R6 if it's even able to get.
Come on, man. Come on, don't do that, man. Don't do that. Come on, man.
Nothing, man.
Tracks ain't lying though. If he wins another race, they will sell more R9s. That's a fact.
That's a fact.
No doubt there. Does Liberty Media Group need to get tech support? We got in Formula One, the Ferrari teams getting disqualified in the main race. Aprilia with their wrong software situation. It seems like these guys are making a lot of mistakes for top-notch entertainment businesses.
Yeah, it's almost like Boeing, right? I don't know. I mean, I think they're going to highlight it, right? All the issues that they do have, they're going to highlight them. I find it very similar to the flight instances we've been hearing about lately. It's one of those things where Aprilia, was it a one-off situation because the other Aprilias didn't get popped? Was it just that team had something? They were like, don't use it this year, use it next year. But they're like, we'll pull it out the envelope this year. I think it's just a one-off instance. I don't think any, I don't know if it's called a technical issue or cheating. Which one is it?
You got to find out what the problem is first.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you look at Formula One with, I mean, I know the Ferrari cars were more parts that were, you know, that much difference in thickness and so forth. But you know, yeah. Let's hear you have to say, Lewis.
Like I said last week, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, and it's only cheating if you get caught. So if you need to put a little extra spicy Tabasco on something to get away with it, you know, every team is going to do what they can to try to get a W or try to get couple more positions. And again, it's only cheating if you get caught. And then once you get caught, then you just have to have the right excuse in place.
No, I was going to say, is it that, you know, they're getting caught, or are they looking for someone to be a scapegoat to, you know, are they checking every team the same rigorous way, or should be?
They should be. And, you know, I like to believe they are, but, you know, that's hard to say because I'm not there in the tech garage after the race when they're disassembling cars and motorcycles to make sure nobody's cheating. You know, they're checking the weight, they're checking the tire pressure, they're doing this, they're reviewing the data, opening the ECU, downloading the software. I'm not there. So I don't know if they're looking for some scapegoats or they're looking for some parity or maybe just looking to create some drama. You know, I know here in the US, when I used to road race, if there was somebody that was beating us on a regular, we would do a petition and we would pay the $300 or $400 to petition them. And then they would have to disassemble the person's motor. Wow. And then they'd be like, no, the motor is good. And we're like, damn. All right. Sorry. I thought he was cheating. But guess what? That $300 that I just spent is going to cost that guy 10 grand because he put 10 grand into that motor. And now he got to rebuild that shit. So he's not going to rebuild it in time for tomorrow. So guess what? I'm that guy, bro. I got number one plaques in my house too. Trust me.
Hey, you still got time to not put this on air, Rex, if you want to.
That's a Belichick move right there, man. That's a Belichick move,
bro.
It's in the room.
If you're not cheating,
we paying to play, man. What are you doing? You taking the check away? Come on, man.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying, man. If somebody's showing up every weekend and he's smoking everybody, something's got to be wrong.
Hey, for your sake, I hope your wife isn't watching. If you ain't cheating, you're not trying hard enough. If you ain't cheating, it's only cheating if you get caught.
It's only cheating if you get caught, man.
No, that's good. That's good.
Track cars.
Yeah, listen, man. Lewis is a savage. You know what I'm saying? That should be his last name. Besides the numbers guy, Savage. But yo, listen, we see it even in MotoGP, people are talking that Mark's bike got something else in it. You know what I'm saying? That the word is going around about his bike too, that they gotta check him like they checked Ayagura. And it is what it is. You know, at the end of the day, if you can't beat them, find the excuse of what happened. And it better be a good one. Because
if Marquez keep dancing like that, he might need to get tested too.
No, that's a fact. So you know what I'm saying? It's no different no matter what platform we on, and F1 was insane, you know, that it went down the way it did, and that it affected the premier rider, you know, even though he's not in the front.
But he did win the sprint, which is impressive, right? Ferrari made a little bit of money after that sprint win.
No, yeah, but you know, it still doesn't look good, right? It looks even worse that he won the sprint, and then that this situation comes up, you know. And his teammate, his ex-teammate from Mercedes is podium, didn't he? Didn't he get third?
Yeah.
It's insane, man. It's insane. But this is racing, right? Racing is figuring out the edge, the competitive edge, finding the edge and knowing how to go maybe a little over it or get as close to it than the person behind you. And that's how you stay in the front. And sometimes that goes into mapping. That goes into you know, tires, that goes into everything that you can get an edge over the other rider. You got to take a chance.
Hey, listen, we gotta, Batista had to, they had to put weight on his bike after Redden complained about, him being too light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also think of it this way. What was cheating once is now accepted today. When Ducati came out with that hammerhead front fairing, everybody's like, yo, what the is that shit? and at that moment, it was considered cheating.
Yeah.
But look at now, all the bikes have fairings. All the bikes have these winglets. All these bikes have these aerodynamic packages. Again, are you cheating or are you pushing the envelope of what you can do within the rule book? And then the rule book is looked at a certain way, and all of a sudden you're a cheater.
Yeah, only Ducati is forgiven for things like that. Lewis, it's okay. Stick to Jigsha or Yamaha, whatever you into,
I mean, that's why they call it the Ducati Cup. Let's be honest.
I want to say something. I'm looking at it from an amateur standpoint too, right? And we all have this unwritten. I don't know when's the last time you raced, Lewis, but there's always this rule in WERA now. You can't run the front brake master cylinder has to be stock, and everybody switches that out. Everybody cheats that rule. Most people do. I don't want to say everybody because some people do live by the rules specifically for that one thing. But we always joke about like, man, could you imagine if someone popped someone for that front brake master because we all run it? Could you imagine? That's been a joke forever. And I don't know, it was in last year, it was 2 years ago at GNF or one of the races I didn't make it in July. I think it wasn't GNF then. Man, these 3, 4, 5 riders got popped. 5 riders, top finishers got popped because somebody's son who was supposed to be the next kid came in 6th. Right. And he went looking at everybody's bike, looking at everybody's brakes and popped them all. I remember 3 guys came from Miami with all Graves bikes. They're called the Silva brothers or something like that. They're 3 brothers. They all packed up and left. They didn't even ride Sunday.
Wow.
That happens I get it. I get it because some people's career are phased off of those wins and stuff in amateur. So I can understand some dad doing it. But we all just laugh at it. It's just a laughing matter for us, right? We don't care. We're not winning any money off it. We do with Kawasaki contingency, but not like pros do. It's definitely a thing in pros. You want to live by the rules in pros.
Yeah. Well, that's changing. That's changing in Azra. They're offering contingency money for first, second, and third. I believe it's 3,000, 2,001, something like that for the top 3. So that's changing.
I might have to come up to your safety track or whatever y'all racing.
I've seen this in tennis with my kids playing tennis, and now kids can be coached, but before they couldn't be coached. But you'll see, parents texting kids while they're on the court in the changeover and stuff like that. Is it the parents' fault where this cheating thing is kind of being introduced to these young kids, and these kids just think it's a way of life?
I don't know, man. I think it's the culture. I want to blame it on the culture because if you guys watch Tour de France stuff and you listen to how involved the scandal of Lance Armstrong was, there's nothing like it. No doping scandal has ever beat this by far, guys. I mean, to the point where this man was sponsored by USPS, had to go and get cancer to remove one of his balls, comes back during the testosterone scandal, says he's not taking testosterone, sues companies for saying that he's taking testosterone, wins,
and teammates.
Then USPS sues him for $100 million. He only pays $5. Why? Because he says y'all motherfuckers were making money off me taking the juice. So y'all were making money while I was doing that. So don't blame me for 100 M's because y'all paid me that. So I think it's a culture because top 17 of those of the Tour de France all got popped.
Yep.
So what happens if you don't take it? You end up 20 places behind now where you should be top 5. So I think it's more of a hush-hush thing in communities like motorcycle. Maybe they're in their garages and stuff. But I wouldn't doubt these guys are taking some sort of performance enhancing. We've seen some riders get popped for those specific drugs. EPO makes you go harder. Same thing. Yeah, I mean it's there. I don't think it's a parents thing though.
Okay.
I definitely don't think it's a parents thing.
It's an adult thing. Adult thing, though.
Adult thing, for sure.
Yeah, okay. All right. Maybe not all parents. All right. Well, guys, I want to thank you for coming on. We already have the list of who's going to win. And I'm looking forward to seeing 2 of the 3 you guys in Coda. Cheetah, we're going to have to connect, next MotoGP or one of these races.
Yeah, Rexy, before y'all go, man, you said work. Y'all didn't even tell me what y'all doing for work. Tell the fans and whoever's watching, what are y'all doing out there?
Well, it's going to be different for all of us. I'm going to be there, as part of the press. B4evaKool, we're part of the press, so we're going to be doing a show there and interviewing some some team members, and putting together maybe not quite an hour and a half video of the weekend, but we're going to get as much as we can get.
That's awesome, man. Awesome. Y'all all working? Tracks, you working?
Yeah, I'm out there with Dineza, so make sure you guys pull up to the booth and say hi. I'm sure Lewis is lining up some Moto2 races and some Moto3 races to come by, sign autographs. We'll be giving out some stuff. We got QR codes. You get some free merch or free little gifts we gonna have out there. It's gonna be a vibe. It's going to be a good time. Last year was amazing. This year, I expect to be even bigger and better. So make sure you pull up by the Dineza booth and come say hi.
Track stars, but I think we can, we'll kidnap Bezecchi. You jump in that suit there, and you maybe get a practice session in on a GP bike.
You know what I'm saying? I think I might bring it down. You know what I'm saying? I got the luggage ready to go, man. I'm suit it up and I'm on.
That's what's up. Lewis, man, he's making the whole thing happen. Tell him what you're gonna do, Lewis. Oh, did he check?
He's in the merchants.
Somebody else say what he's doing.
Go ahead, Track Stars.
What you mean?
What's Lewis gonna be doing?
Oh, Lewis is gonna be
there you go.
Lewis is back. All right, Lewis, tell him what you're doing.
Friday, we got Marco Bezecchi signing autographs right next to us at the Aprilia booth. Saturday, we have the Pramac Moto2 team at our booth at about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we're going to have another autograph signing with Aprilia Saturday afternoon. And then late Saturday afternoon, Aprilia is going to introduce the Extrema RSV4 with Max Biaggi. There's only one in the country right now, but it's a $165,000 SuperBike.
Man.
Dang.
So,
okay.
It costs a few jixers.
More than a few.
A fleet of jixers. So we got autograph signings on Friday. We got autograph signings on Saturdays. We're going to be doing giveaways at the booth. I'm bringing a lot of historic suits that you can take pictures with. So you can take a picture with a Rossi suit, a Biaggi suit, a Bezecchi suit, and some other suits that we have there. So it'll be a good time. And then I'll be running back and forth from the paddock, doing some VIP tours for some people that are flying in to see our Dainese service center. So it should be a good time, man. And I'll meet you there, and I'll bring you down to the service center as well, so you can see where the magic happens of trying to keep guys in gear the entire weekend after they crash or just in general.
All right.
Well, thanks for the invite, guys. I'm going to do a nice 50-mile cycle ride on Saturday and plop my butt on the couch and watch some GP. Hopefully I'll catch y'all on TV.
Hopefully. I'll be waving if I can.
Well, if you're not there, you come up to Ducati, New York. There's going to be some bike and coffee over there. So, make your way over there, Cheetah.
I'll pull up for some bike and coffee. Let's go.
He might have to go to Ducati Atlanta, man. Go to Dainese Atlanta.